Great morning, business owners and managers, and welcome to another episode of CX in the Morning, Customer Experience in the Morning. I am your host, Wes Walters, and on every single CX in the Morning, I bless you with customer service tips, customer experience tricks, and I leave you with gems. And by gems, I mean actionable takeaways that you can implement at the speed of now. You will learn the importance of implementing an awesome customer experience and how that affects the bottom line. And that by itself, my friend, is pretty awesome. Today, we have with us the ever beautiful, ever faithful Miss Troya. Miss Bishop, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you great. Can you hear me?
I can hear you great. Welcome to the show. Great morning.
Yes.
Thanks for being here. And I thought we had a conversation off camera, and because you do so many things. So many things. And in the conversation, listen, if you're watching, it's important that everyone in your circle of influence, that you should know what they do. Everyone in your circle of influence, like I'm this sleeping giant is in my circle of influence. And I'm thinking, how you typecast someone in Hollywood. I typecast her. I'm like, this is what Troya does. And just having a conversation over a picnic, she's like, no, I do this and this. And she is a modern day Paul Robeson, ladies and gentlemen. She's a female version of Bo Jackson, does so many things, Swiss Army knife. But we're going to talk about one of the many things that she does. And I thought it was very important and meaningful for me because I think it would be meaningful for you as well, the viewers. So Troya serves the customers, the forgetting customers, the customers that nobody really wants to serve. Troya serves through her organization called the Parental Empowerment Institute. She serves felons that are re-entering into society. And yes, these are customers. I keep telling you, if you watch this show, you're going to realize that if you're going to be on planet Earth, you're going to have to serve.
That's right.
So why not just be good at it? Someone would never how could you look at a felon as a customer? Troy is going to explain to you how a felon is a customer. Tell me a little bit about your organization, the Parental Empowerment Institute, and the amazing job that you guys are doing in the community.
Well, at Parental Empowerment Institute, we serve people from all walks of life. And one of the programs that we have is where we do have people who we don't call them felons, but they do have a felony. We call them returning citizens. So a lot of the parents that we serve are either going to prison, and we have to work with them to make arrangements for their children, or in their finances and their furniture, just all kinds of things that you may not think of when you think somebody's going to jail. But we help them in that process. And we also help them when they are coming home and they actually are returning. So we help them find housing, food, and make a connection with their kids. That's important. And it's hard to do. And a lot of people said that I was absolutely crazy when I said that this is something that I'm going to do. But I did feel like it was a part of my purpose, a part of my calling. And just being true to who I am, it really got me indoors that doing stuff that other folks was doing wouldn't have. So I'm really blessed to have the experience to serve these people.
So let me great. So is that my feedback or yours?
I don't hear anything.
All right. Well, let's keep it moving. So someone realizes that they're going to jail, right? For whatever reason. Let's take me through the customer journey. So John Smith realizes he's going to jail. Who contacts you? John Smith or John Smith kids or John Smith's friends or John Smith's spouse? Who contacts you? Because I didn't even knew there was an organization that you're going to jail on December 25th. Let's put things in place before going to jail. That's new to me. I never even knew that existed.
Yeah, so a lot of times it's those people's attorneys. The attorneys will reach out to different community service organizations, and they'll find me and say, well, hey, can you do X, Y, and Z for my client? Because depending on what the case is or what the charge was, a lot of times we're actually there with the family advocating for them through that process to maybe get less time, or maybe to get, instead of being sent to actual prison, being sent to a camp or something a little bit different, or being able to serve time on probation, all different types of things. So we're already involved a lot of times with the family in the legal process, so they know how to reach us.
Okay, so you guys do the entire process. You're not just showing up at the court when they're being sentenced. So you guys are there. So you guys have a history of what's going on. Okay,
right.
Let's flip it. John served his time. John is, even before we get there. So, all right, John goes to jail now. Now his family members become your customer. Right. So we see a shift. A lot of times, what I like to describe as subfolders of customers. I have this, hey, this is the customer. And now, so John is the immediate customer. John goes off to jail. John's spouse and kids become your immediate attention. What do you do? Or let's say John is gone for a year. How do you keep John's spouse and his kids engaged, or what programs, or what are you doing with them while John is gone? Is it just, hey, see you guys when John is ready to come home, or are you engaged with them in that year that John is gone?
I'm glad you asked that question, because this is the main thing that I think we do that differentiates us between other people. We don't follow the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. What we do is the platinum rule. We ask people what they need, when they need it, and how they want to be treated, and then we try to meet or exceed those expectations. So it's all different depending on what different people need. Because some people don't have spouses, and some people don't want to be contacted, and then some people have spouses with children, and they don't want the kids to be connected while they're in prison. They don't want the children to experience the parent being incarcerated. So everybody has different types of needs. So it's definitely different based on what each individual family needs. We ask them, and then we provide that.
Okay. And John is returning, being re-entered back into society. Tell me, how does that process work? And again, so now John is your immediate customer. This is the one that you want to serve at a world-class level. So your attention as a business owner or nonprofit owner shifts from the family now to John, because John has been gone for a year. How does that work? What does that feel like? What do you do? Go take me through the journey. How does that work? So John got the date. He will be released on November 11th. It's November 11th. Tell me what happens.
So we'll meet with him and his family, whoever he wants us to meet with, and we'll do a needs assessment. We'll find out exactly what he needs. He may need housing. He may need access to food. He may need health care. So based on what he needs, we provide that for him. And a lot of the people that we serve, they do need help with being able to reconnect with their families, because a lot of times people don't want to be a part of that piece. So they need help with reconnecting. So we do that and get them in contact with their probation officers. A lot of people think it's easy to find out who you need to check in with, but it's not, because that's a whole nother story. But sometimes they really do want you to go back. It's a lot of money to be made. So just being able to make sure that they know who they need to be connected with in the probation process or the parole process, but all of those things we do, we'll figure out what they need and get them connected with services. There's actually a lot of other people who serve formerly incarcerated people. So we make sure that they have those resources as well. Some people need anger management training. We make sure they get that. Some people need just other support in life coaches. So we'll direct them in those directions for people who do those things. So it just depends on what they need. We connected with those resources if we don't provide it.
Awesome. Now, are there particular agencies that you work with, or do you work directly with the courts, or how do people find out about you? Like, do the courts recommend, hey, John, we see that you're going to jail, you should reach out to Parental, what is the Parental Empowerment Institute? How do people find you?
I would love for people to find me that way. Typically they don't, because our organization works, we partner with other organizations who do not support the courts and not necessarily how they operate. We are I don't want to say anti the system, but a lot of times because the system is set up against folks, we have to be anti against the system. So, but we do have a lot of organizations that we work with, not necessarily appointed by the court, but some of those organizations will come alongside us and provide whatever we need.
Okay, let me ask you this. You touched briefly on recidivism. We're going to get back to that, but I want to talk about what programs do you have lined up for John as he re-enters into the society?
In terms of, you mean like if they need clothes or healthcare or?
I don't know. Again, I'm totally ignorant to this process. So John comes back in. He has a felony. What do you have in place, or what should John be concentrating and John's family be concentrating as the first 30 days for John?
Okay, so first 30 days.
John needs to, I guess, first get some self-esteem back, because he needs to reclaim his position as head of household, or, as the king or as the man. So what are some of the things, whether it's tangible or just theory in regards to books, literature, what do you have in place for John for the first 30 days, or what should he do?
So one thing, we definitely connect men we do totally separate, different things for men and women. But for men coming back, we connect them with this program called Freedom is a Choice. Mm-hmm. And that program is run and led by men. And so they connect them to the spiritual piece. The program is actually led by the young man named Omar Howard, and he's actually the chaplain for the transition center when they come home. And they will probably already know him in some capacity anyway. Mm-hmm. And then after they meet with him, they do another needs assessment. So he will find out if they do need more intense anger management training, or if he needs more intense support for whatever. Because some people come home and they have clothes, they have stuff like that. But a lot of times people don't. They don't have housing. They do need food stamps, and they need help with going through the program. Well, how do you do that? So specifically to what he needs, we'll do that. But now with some women, they have to have assistance with contacting family members, because mom may say, well, you've been gone 3 years. When you left, I said I was going to give the kids back, but now I don't want to. So it's working with them, and what does that look like? And mom is saying, well, you have to prove to me that you are ready to receive your children again. So we have to go through them with what that looks like. And then the kids are like, I ain't seen you. So you ain't my mama, that whole thing, and being able to prepare them for how to reassert your authority into the life of your child, because it's not instant. And a lot of times people don't know that, and they don't even know that they don't know. They don't know how to even, what that would even look like. So we work with them in that process and make sure that that they have other organizations to provide whatever resources they may need.
Awesome. Now let's talk about it seems like it's a catch-22, because you take away this person, you give them a felony, and most jobs won't hire individuals with felonies. Correct. So you take them, you take away the right for them to be able to make a living, and you're like, well, you can't make a living, but if you go back to selling drugs, we're gonna lock you up again. Am I missing something, or is that a trap? Is that by design?
It's by design, absolutely. And not only can you not work, it also in the state of Georgia, it's illegal for you to get food stamps. And we fought that for a long time. We finally were able to get them on the federal level, but the state was even blocking people being able to get them on the federal level. So it's a lot. And then not only that, but where are you going to live? And right now we actually serve a lot of girls. That's why I was kind of a little bit thrown off by the John scenario, because we work with a lot of girls, and a lot of these girls have children before they leave to go to prison, but they come back not only with a felony, but specifically with a pimping charge. Because now remember, we're in Atlanta, where you have I-20, I-285, and this is the home, unfortunately, of sex trafficking. And what happens a lot of times is that girls who are 15, 16, 17 will get caught up in a sex traffic ring, and will tell their friends, well, hey, you might as well come and work with us. We make $1,500 a week. I mean, you're having sex anyway, you might as well get paid for it. So some of those statements will get them a charge. Literally, they will get them a pimping charge. So when they come home, they have to register as a sex offender and don't have anywhere to live. And that is hard.
Wait. There's actually something called a pimping charge that the victim would get charged with, or the pimp will get charged with?
Well, remember, the girl who is soliciting other girls, yes, that's legally considered a pimp. Okay. So yes, they literally give these girls, even though yes, they are victims, but they give them pimping charges. So that's why even in the activist community, while we fight really hard against having those charges, because a lot of the men don't get charged with pimping. The men who are actually soliciting the girls, they don't get charged with pimping. They don't get a charge at all a lot of times. That's why it's prevalent, and that's why it's hard to stop the sex trafficking. They can stop it if they wanted to, they just don't.
So I thought this was going to be a bubbly conversation. We're going to have fun, but I'm getting upset, Troya, because I'm thinking of one, because I'm very familiar with 285. I'm familiar with sex trafficking. I have a daughter, and I'm familiar with how many people that don't look like us who are making millions in the marijuana industry right now. And we have brothers serving time for marijuana. One is making millions selling stocks in marijuana. And we have brothers who have charges for marijuana, have to deal with a felony coming out and a felony in their records and can't find jobs. And you know, the sisters have to deal with coming back into re-entering back into society, and their options are, okay, well, you have to register as a sex offender, you have a felony, so all right, you can work at McDonald's and flip burgers. Like, I mean, I'm getting upset now because I'm seeing like, okay, you're forcing individuals who have already paid their debt to society to come back out and fight for scraps.
Absolutely. And a lot of it is because of your friends who are making those millions in the marijuana industry. They've completely changed the game. So what happened was, in states like California, Colorado, Washington State, Oregon, Nevada, who legalized marijuana, people who were in prison with marijuana charges, that was about 80 to 85% of those people, were let out. And those prisons had contracts with people who we call investors. The investors sued those states, and the state had to pay that money back. So what's happening in other places is that they're trying to make sure that people are able to get a felony at younger ages to keep their prisons full. In the state of Georgia, you can't operate a prison unless it's at 90% capacity. So if the legalization of marijuana law passes, which it will here in a couple of years, they're going to have to let those folks out that have marijuana charges. If those people are gone, who's going to do the free slave labor in prison to support those contracts? Nobody, unless you make sure that these little girls get pimping charges, and you make sure that the kids have felonies at younger ages so that they are able to serve longer sentences, and they're more likely, because they have felonies and will come home with nowhere to live and nothing to eat, and have a hard time, they're more likely to commit another crime.
Awesome. You're just tuning in to Ms. Troya of Parental Empowerment Institute, and Troya has a very unique job in serving the customers. You're like, why is she here, Wes? This is a customer experience show. Well, because Troya serves a group of customers that nobody wants to touch. She is that lunatic that serves the customers that nobody wants to serve. Hey, good morning, Miss Tamika. So, all right, now let me ask you this. It seems like is it just me that, especially this is fresh in my mind because of the election, these are things that are affecting our community directly. Shouldn't these type of things be in consideration for candidates either side? Instead of a side thinking we already have their vote, we don't even have to appease them. We don't have to appease them because we know they're gonna, grandmama for 6 generations been voting for us, and they're gonna continue to vote for us. We don't even need to appease them. But it would make sense to get some type of tangibles and say, okay, these are the things that affect our community directly. Maybe someone who has done a nonviolent crime, who has served their time and paid their debt to society, maybe when they come out, they shouldn't have this stigma attached to them for the rest of their lives. Maybe these are some of the things that we should be pushing for people who say that they're going to be representing us for 4 years or for 2 years. Is it me, or am I stretched? If I'm reaching, I want you to say, Wes, you're reaching. You just need to go in your corner and sit down and be happy that someone wants to represent you. I'm believing that.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's something that I personally have been pushing for since 2012. I was literally working for the Democratic Party of Georgia in 2012, and was able to push from the inside and from the outside with other other organizations. But what happens is a lot of times people come to the awakening, like you're talking about, at different times, and people assume because they're just now putting those things together that nothing has ever been done. But we've been working on it for a really long time, really trying to push inside of the party, trying to push outside of the party, trying to push the Republican Party, and just try to lift it in a lot of different spaces. But it absolutely is something that needs to be talked about and dealt with by everybody.
Awesome. So it seems to me that the next best thing, not the next best thing, which is a positive, should be entrepreneurship. I think if you're coming out of jail, you know, you shouldn't even be trying to look for a job. You should be like, okay, how can I create a job? Do you guys have any incentives or any strategies in place for or through Parental Empowerment Institute to inject entrepreneurship as an option for those coming out, re-entering into society?
Yes. So one thing that we do immediately is ask everybody, because of course, one of the first things that people want to do is get a cell phone. So we ask people to get their cell phone and to text 81010 and to text the words at Millionaire Mind. And I know you're familiar with Haziq Ali and other brilliant Black men who are part of that entrepreneurial society. And we ask people to join in for that group, to join in on those calls, to learn about entrepreneurial mindset first and skills. Because what happens sometimes with a lot of well-intentioned people is that they'll start a business but not realize that they don't even have the mindset to allow their business to thrive. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the most powerful things that I feel like we can offer to anybody. But we definitely encourage entrepreneurship because nobody knows what you need more than you do. And so we like to be able to encourage people to figure out what you do well and be able to make it marketable.
Awesome. Troya, you opened up my eyes. I've learned a lot. Serving the customers that nobody wants to touch, man, that it definitely says something about your character and about, not, she's not doing it for the money. Newsflash, okay? She's not doing it for the money. No. So I just want to salute you, sister. Is there anything that you want to leave the viewers with? And where can they find you on social media?
Well, on social media, you can just look me up on Facebook, Instagram at Parental Empowerment Institute. I also dropped the link for the website on your social media as well. And I just wanted to say we do get money. This is a check that we got. I don't know if you can see this. It's from Ross. Ross sent us, because they know who we are, they sent us $500 in gift cards and asked for us to give it out. So we found teen moms that we know need help, and we're supporting them in that way. So when you're doing the right thing, people will find you and they'll make it happen. So don't be discouraged with doing the right thing. We make money in other ways.
Fantastic.
Look at these cheeks. I ain't starving.
I'm sorry?
I said, look at these cheeks. I ain't starving.
Yes. One last thing. I saw that there are a myriad of grants available for those who are re-entering into society. I mean, Walmart gives grant. There's a Boost grant. There's a Boots grant for those who were veterans. Happy Veterans Day to veterans. So not. You said you don't call them felons. What do you call them? What do you refer to them as?
Re-entering citizens.
Re-entering citizens. Do they really get these grants, or do they have to jump through hoops to get these grants?
They have to jump through so many hoops. I know a lot of people who are formerly incarcerated who have great organizations. I don't know any who have received a grant yet. And we've written a lot, but I don't know anybody who's received any.
That's what I thought. I'm like, This is just publicity. This looks good, but I'm like, yeah, I have never heard anyone that be like, man, I just got out and I just got this big grant and it changed my life. I've never heard that. Mm-mm. Not saying that I know a lot of people who've been to jail, but and the ones that I knew went to jail, no one ever talked or bragged about, man, that grant really changed the trajectory of my life and I'm a better person now. Right. Never heard about it. But anyway, Troya, thank you so much for lending an ear and enlightening the viewers. And I know people were like, okay, why is she here? Because again, she does serve customers. Those that are re-entering into society are customers. And they should be treated like customers, paying customers, whether they're not paying or whether that, they especially customers like that who need a self-esteem boost, who are used to being treated as, oh, you're a felon now, you're nobody. Someone like Troya serving those customers at a world-class level and letting them know like, hey, it's not the end of the world and things this can actually be the reset button for you. We look of how many others who went to jail, Muhammad Ali, Malcolm, and how did they change when they got out. So not promoting jail, but sometimes it could be the reset button.
Absolutely.
Troya, thank you so much. And
Thank you for me.
all right, it's my pleasure. Thanks for being here. All right.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.